Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. More US bombs hit Afghanistan this year than in any other year since the Americans started their war there, and the war shows no end in sight. Hashtag This Is Our Lane. Doctors in the US respond to being trolled by the NRA. Get a hobby, his grandkids said. Get out more, his grandkids said. So he did this. We introduce you to the Pokemon Grandpa. And cats doing things and animals doing stuff. But what are they trying to do? We'll tell you later. Top of our newsfeed, bombs. The United States military, directed by President Trump and his generals, are dropping an ever-increasing number of bombs on Afghanistan. And yet, the Taliban are now more secure, more able to mount attacks, and more able to control territory than they've been for a decade, leaving many to wonder if the war in the place they call the graveyard of empires will ever come to an end. 17 years of war, 147,000 dead, and more bombs falling than ever before. 5,213 between January 2018 and September, dropped by the United States Air Force. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of munitions falling on Afghanistan since Donald Trump's administration inherited the war from Barack Obama. Trump has freed his generals to conduct the war as they see fit. He's changed the rules of engagement and allowed US forces to fire on what they perceive to be enemy forces without being in contact with them. And while the US has freed up its military to kill more Afghans, the Taliban are doing the same, increasing their attacks around the country and taken more and more territory. The New York Times report that in a 7-day period between September the 28th and October the 4th, 100 people were killed, mainly police officers or members of the Afghan security forces. The Taliban now control at least 37% of the country, and the fighting season is only just coming to an end. So what will happen in 2019? Will the US continue to increase its bombing campaign as the Taliban increase their attacks and gain more territory? Or will politicians and military commanders reach a different conclusion to the forever war? The National Rifle Association is a loud lobbying group that keeps Americans buying guns and keeps gun makers making money, and they are very successful at both. So when they tweeted something critical of trauma doctors in the US who have to deal with gunshot victims, there was shock and outrage, and then the doctors fired back. Now this all happened on social media under some hashtags. The substantive question is whether there will be anything significant coming from politicians in terms of gun control legislation. Okay, time for some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, these images are doing the numbers on social. They are of the freshman class of Democrat Congresswomen at their orientation, all of whom have broken a glass ceiling in some way to get to where they are. Now, more women than ever have been elected to this 116th Congress, and the first Muslim American and the first Native American women are among them. And this is the teaser trailer for the new season of Game of Thrones Season 8. It's coming like winter, and it will be released in April of next year.
war that matters. And it is here.
Now, how much do you weigh? It's a rude question, I know, but I am asking in the name of science, because if your answer is in kilograms, then your weight could be about to change. Sort of. Watch this.
The kilogram will become history. Well, kind of. See, for 129 years, the definition of a kilogram has been tied to a lump of metal sitting in a vault in France. The international prototype of the kilogram, the Grand K, is the one true kilogram in the world. But that may be about to change. The Grand K, a cylinder made of platinum and iridium, has been shifting in weight and failing in its role. It grows with the accumulation of pollution from the air and shrinks slightly with each cleaning. So scientists are now discussing a new way to accurately define what a kilogram is, and they're likely to use quantum mechanics to do so, tying it to the laws of nature. But until then, when asked your weight in kilograms, you can ignore that question, you know, for scientific reasons.
Now, how much do the toys that you play with as a kid influence your behaviour and development? Now, for example, I was not allowed to play with guns or swords, so I had to pretend that the vacuum cleaner attachment was a lightsaber, but I digress. There is a real worry among a US pressure group that children's toys may be causing more damage to our kids than we realised.
When you sell a claw like this to go over a child's hand, a 5-year-old child's hand, and call it a slash claw, there's likely one thing a child's going to do with that claw. And you might imagine what that will look like.
This year alone, an estimated 240,000 toy-related injuries occurred. One child is treated every 3 minutes for a toy-related injury. And between 1990 and 2011, there was a 40% increase in toy-related injuries.
Each and every year, Watch puts out a list like this, and each and every year it's full of misinformation and inaccurate information. Watch is not testing any of the toys that they've included on this list for their safety, and toy manufacturers go to great lengths to ensure that toys are safe and compliant, and they have a lot of testing that they do in order to ensure that.
Okay, let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. Melania Trump has publicly called for a member of her husband's administration to be fired. It's a very rare occurrence for a First Lady to become involved in the staffing of the White House. Mrs. Trump wants a woman called Mira Ricardel fired because Ricardel is seen as a divisive figure, according to reporting. A nurse who drove this Toyota pickup through fire to rescue people in California has been offered a new one. Alan Pierce put these pictures on Facebook with the words, "This is my Toyota ad. This truck literally saved my life." Then Toyota USA wrote to him saying they would give him a new truck. That is good internet. And BTS have done it again. No, not made an impossible to listen to, but for some reason ridiculously successful song. No, they've messed up again. Yes. RM has been pictured wearing a hat that looks suspiciously like the sort of thing the Nazi Waffen-SS wore in the Second World War. What? This after they were cancelled from a Japanese music show last week because of a photo of Jimin wearing a shirt seeming to celebrate the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Now, the BTS army have been defending their boys, saying the photo of the SS hat was doctored. Let's see which part of the Second World War they celebrate next. The Battle of Stalingrad? Now Ross, or is it Russ, has been caught. Remember a few weeks back, some guy stole some beer from a shop in Blackpool in the UK, and he looked a lot like Ross from Friends, or so the internet thought. So much so that David Schwimmer made this video and wished the cops in the UK luck in catching the real thief. And so they have. It's a 36-year-old guy, and he was arrested just outside of London. Maybe the cops use the ancient Japanese concept of unagi. Now, staying with things that look nothing like the real thing, this model is being widely mocked. It's of a famous British actor. He was in The Wire, and he was recently named People magazine's sexiest man alive. Give up? The answer you'd have never guessed is Idris Elba. The word is that this is the worst attempted lookalike since that Cristiano Ronaldo statue. And the Oscars have just reinforced the reason no one watches the ceremony anymore. Not only is it too long, too boring, and too contrived, it is really, really contrived. That's why they suggested earlier this year they would have a Best Popular Film Award. They're not. It was an announcement to get ratings, according to the president of the Academy, Mr. John Bailey, who said so in an interview with Vanity Fair. Now, did you ever want to be the very best like no one ever was? Did you ever think that catching them was your real test and training them was your cause? Well, this guy did, and he does, and he wins.
I started playing back in 2016. I used one cell phone back then and kept playing and playing. After a month it became 3 cell phones, 6 cell phones, 9 cell phones, 12 and 15 and so on.
What amazed me the most is that I was already busy enough playing with 2 cell phones. He's able to take care of 15 cell phones at once. It's painstaking. From going out until returning home, Chen can remain energetic for 6 to 7 hours, not feeling tired. That's really impressive.
That's pretty good stamina. And sticking with pocket monsters, take a look at this.
They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika. He's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him?
Listen up.
Well, it's the new trailer for the new movie called Detective Pikachu. Why the makers of the film went with a male Pikachu is not clear. They can be boys or girls, so says the internet. But they went for a dude, and it's voiced by one of the actors from the sitcom Two Guys, a Girls in a Pizza Place. But that's not the most upsetting thing. Upsetting the internet. No, apparently they're not happy with Pikachu being hairy. As you can see from this tweet, they're not pleased at all. But as with most people who post stuff like this online, they're making noise for noise's sake. As Eugene Lee Yang says, he will be buying tickets to see it anyways. Well, animals doing stuff now, and these two just need to get their culture fix. According to the net, 2 cats have been trying for 2 years to get into the Museum of Art in Ominachi in Japan. As you can see, it's becoming something of a game and they keep getting turned away. Now, it could be because they don't have their museum pass or because they're just trying to get in to use the bathroom. Whatever the reason, it's given plenty online pause for thought. Sorry. Well, that's all for the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.